Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Kennel NRL podcast. Thanks for joining us once again. I'd like to welcome my co-host, Dibbo.
It's always good to be back.
Lovely to have you, bro.
Yeah.
Just before we get started, I'd just like to ask one small favor, nothing too big. If you're new to the channel, new to the podcast, or if you're returning and haven't yet subscribed, can I please ask you to like and subscribe just below this video, whether you're on your phone or on your desktop. We have heaps of current players, ex-players, and club administrators coming on in the next few months. So subscribe so you don't miss any of that. Be sure to click the bell icon if you want to be notified about everything that we upload as it gets up there. Thank you. Now, back to the podcast. Dibbo?
I'll tell you what, just on subscribing, I like reading the comments. You know, there's a few on there. One guy called Ibby, Finch. Some of their comments are
some larrikins on there, mate. They love sharing that. Love hearing the comments. I love the comments. Anything that you guys want to say in the comments about our opinions, about our support of the teams, about the podcast. Honestly, anything as long as you keep it appropriate. I'd love to hear it. So if there's a comment that you want to put about the way I look, the way Dibbo looks, our opinions from today's show or any previous shows, leave it in the bottom, and I guarantee you we will respond as soon as we see it. Now,
I don't think anyone has a problem with how I look.
But can you feel it, Dibbo? It's State of Origin season. I honestly, on the drive here, I was getting pumped. I was just thinking, oh my God, it's State of Origin again. The teams have been announced. There are some dramatic choices being made as they are every year. And I'm just getting so excited.
I'm just looking forward to the KFC bucket.
Yes.
Not just one KFC bucket, might be a few, but I don't know. Maybe I'll go to Burger Hustle and grab their fried chicken. So,
man, they're not sponsoring us. So you got to keep mentioning. You can't keep mentioning them until they sponsor.
Mate, his fried chicken, Burger Hustle, and Belmore. I drive up for that.
And we will be covering a lot of State of Origin stuff today. But before we get into that, we're a Bulldogs podcast first and foremost, and can I just say, what a comeback win by the Bulldogs! What a determined and courageous win once again by the Bulldogs. 14-0 down at halftime, and somehow we managed to come back and snatch it right at the death. And what a relief that was for the Doggies to win.
No one gave up. They all were playing for each other. I know it wasn't their best brand of footy that we saw. They had a lot of errors in them, but I mean, they never gave up. They all played for each other. Marnie, Avarillo, your young gun, Alawapu, your halfback, Burton, the forwards, and then, I mean, Ockenbaugh at the end.
The Ock. Everyone owes him an apology.
I know. I'm going to, on behalf of Finch, Carl, and Ibby, 3 of our subscribers, they've asked me to issue a grovelling apology on their behalf. They are now on the Ockenbaugh plane, so expect them to get behind him.
I think it's the Ockenbaugh train now. He's on the train. That's what it is. The Ock train.
I called it a plane.
Yeah. I mean, what a redemption story by Ockenbaugh. I think this year he's shown his ability. Sure, maybe he's not a winger or a centre, but I think as a second row or an impact forward, he's covered many bases for us, and I think that's great, and it shows what Sir Aldo thinks of him, because he had Blake Wilson on the wing just in case Adokar or Kiraz maybe had an injury or something like that, and he didn't want Ockenbaugh to have to play that fill-in role for them. And I think that speaks volumes as to, I guess, the progress that Ockenbaugh has made throughout the season.
I mean, he put a mad step on Foreign. Straight through, a lot of toe. He's a big, hard runner. The fullback had no chance. I mean, he's Ockenbaugh the quickest forward in the game.
I mean, look, there are plenty of quick forwards. I think David Feeder's pretty quick, man.
Yeah, I reckon Ockenbaugh would be up there in the top 5.
Well, he's a winger. He's a winger naturally, so he's
a big man that can run fast.
Yeah, he's a big man that runs fast.
And that's a big confidence booster. So expect a lot more of him taking up the edge.
Look, I think he's
so up the middle, not around the edge, but yeah, he'll just try to dissect them.
If he was to get early ball as a second row, I think he could do some damage. But let's go through that game, right? After the first half, I sent a tweet out. I was quite disappointed by the way the team was performing. I thought that not much had changed since the Warriors game. We hadn't scored any points. We were playing like busted asses for that first half. And it was, very, very sobering and disappointing as a Bulldogs fan. And I was quite upset that this was the performance that the team was putting on. I thought some of the calls against us, especially in that first half, were absolutely ridiculous. I didn't understand, like, for example, the Tino one, where Tino sets up that try with an offload for Joe Stimson, where he puts his forearm out as he's running, which we know is not allowed, whether you're at defense or attack.
Marnie's about 3'4", so no, he shouldn't stuck that out. I know Marnie's quite short, but yeah, I mean, he didn't even get cited, did he?
Well, the match review committee did cite him, but during the game he wasn't penalised or anything.
So did he cop a suspension?
I think that's why he's named on the bench, and Christian Walsh is 19th man for Queensland, because I think that Tino potentially could be suspended.
Oh, he hasn't had the judiciary yet.
No.
I remember years back Stephen Kearney running and sticking his elbow out, and I think he copped about 3 or 4 weeks. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if anything's been updated today, but it's not looking good for Tino. So I mean, I'd love to see him play for Queensland.
Oh, it's looking good for New South Wales. He does get suspended.
He's an amazing forward, but so that was one of those incidents I thought stood out for me. The other incident that stood out for me was the hip drop penalty that was given against Reed Marnie, which is clearly not a hip drop. The NRL's come out and said it wasn't a hip drop. The match review committee came out and said it wasn't a hip drop. We're not citing Reed Marnie for it. Yet, lo and behold, the Bulldogs get penalised for it. The Titans march upfield and score. Now, it's the NRL put out a video saying this is what a hip drop is. They're trying to make it clear. They're trying to get rid of the ambiguity around what a hip drop is. And I'm all for them stamping hip drops out. But you can't keep getting these calls so horribly wrong. And the bunker's there. Like, what, we
look, they didn't throw anyone in the sin bin this time. So that's probably an improvement, we'll call it. In previous games, we've seen them throw players in the sin bin for innocuous challenge such as that one. And it's changed the course of the game. So there has been quite a few games this year. The results have been influenced by, honestly, a joke of a sin bin, basically. And it seems like the same sides have been benefiting from those calls.
Absolutely. It's very top heavy, and I think it's the top teams that always seem to benefit.
Oh, yeah.
Always,
All the one city teams.
Yeah.
I mean, the NRL needs them to thrive, to be competitive in the market. Always maintained they had that agenda, especially towards the Melbourne side. And I'll stick by it.
Yeah, look, I think the Roosters cop plenty of favourable calls. I think Panthers cop plenty of favourable calls. The Rabbitohs are, honestly, they're the luckiest, most advantaged team in the NRL. I say that, I don't dislike the Rabbitohs. I'm a big fan of Latrell Mitchell. I think, I'd love to see Alex Johnson become the highest try scorer in NRL ever. I honestly, there are a lot of players in the Rabbitohs that I like, and I like them as a team. But it's kind of ridiculous how many, advantageous calls they get throughout the
I think their luck will run out soon enough. I mean, we all remember South saw about 2 decades with the cellar dwellers. They couldn't even get a call. They couldn't even get 2,000 people to Redfern Oval. I mean, good times don't last, but neither do the bad times. But I guess their good times will come to an end eventually, so you might see them back to the cellar again soon. So just
very quickly, Tino was charged by the match review committee for a grade 1 dangerous contact charge on Reed Marnie. But if he takes the early guilty plea, it'll be a $1,800 fine. But he will still be free to play the first Origin game.
So he will be playing.
So he will be, which is good. I don't want to give Queensland any excuses.
Just before you blow up on that sort of topic, Elliot Whitehead opted to take a fine instead of copying a 2-week suspension, but he's also out for 6 weeks.
He's out for 6 weeks, so it makes sense.
I was waiting for you to go all red.
Yeah. When I read it, I was like, how can this guy make the same mistake as
one of your favourites,
Ryan Madison? But it turns out, no, he's injured for 6 weeks, so it sort of works in their favour if he doesn't.
Just on Ryan Madison, he's actually a Canterbury junior, so play for the Greenacre Tigers.
That's right.
Maybe you should have him back home.
No, thank you. Moving on.
I thought you were heavily invested in your junior base. What happened?
I am, just not Ryan Madison. Anyway, moving on. Basically, I thought in the second half, Burton was a lot more involved in the game, and he's kicking. And they only diffused 44% of Burton's kicks.
What, the gale force win on Sunday.
Yeah,
imagine that was an open stadium. It would have been even worse.
It would have been, yeah.
Oh,
as I said, like statistics were they only diffused 44% of Burton's kicks.
Surprised they even diffused that many.
Yeah, and whereas the Bulldogs were able to diffuse
stat.
80% of the Titans kicking game.
Who are the kickers? I mean,
it's true, but Foreign is a very, very experienced
honestly,
campaigner.
I reckon Burton should not worry about rugby league. Go to the NFL, become a punter, earn about $3 to $4 million at least for the next 10 years. He'll make $40 million as to opposed to about.
You're gonna have the pitchforks coming after you, mate, because we don't want to lose Burton. Let me tell you.
I think Phil will be leading the pitchforks. But
I thought
if you're watching Burto, take the advice I've just given you.
I think what I liked in the second half was we started to show a little bit better shape. And it wasn't just, we scored and we got lucky. We attacked a lot better. Titans defended their lives out, but we didn't give up. And we were eventually able to break through. And in fact, we scored 4 tries to the Titans 3.
Look, Titans were dreadful. I mean, you know what? I'm not taking any credit away from you guys because you never gave up. I think they went ahead by 8 points or something, or 10 points. And you guys just found a way to...
14-0 at one point.
Yeah, you guys found a way to keep coming back. Given the opportunity, you took it with both hands. But, geez, the Titans, they can capitulate. They can give away stupid penalties, as we saw towards the end of the game. Some of those speed tackles, high shots.
Yeah, they sort of got frustrated. And
honestly, if I'm a coach and they're repeat offenders, sorry, but you're not even going to be my 17. I mean, if we're in a position to win the game and those players are going to do those sort of actions on the field, then why would I jeopardize 2 points?
Well, the problem is I think Titans struggle for depth. I think that's the one thing that is keeping some of the players where they are, is they are struggling for a little bit of depth. I think, I don't know what the solution is for the Titans, but I'll tell you what, if we put 2 halves of good footy together as a team, I think the Bulldogs will give a lot of teams a run for their money. I thought in the second half, we played like we wanted to win.
They're 5-7, right?
5-7.
They could have won probably an extra 2 or 3 games.
Easily. I mean, taking the injury crisis into account, taking the fact that we've had now 8 new debutants,
that's good. That's gonna help you in the long run.
Massive depth for us.
He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Probably not in the next few years. But what I'm talking about is the next 5 to 7 years. You've got a core group of players.
Yeah, agreed.
You guys should be a regular fixture in the finals to come for probably about 5 or 7 years straight. I mean, it could be longer than that.
It depends on who we uncover. Like, for example, if you look at, we lost Josh Jackson over the summer. Right, he retired, and I thought there's no way we're going to be able to plug that hole. It would be very difficult. Hang on a second. Hey, let me finish what I'm saying. We uncover Preston. He's played every game this year. 44 tackles last game. 130. I think it was like 24 runs for 130 meters. He's everywhere where he needs to be. And all I'm saying is that Preston's played 12 games, and he's already looking like a seasoned campaigner, and he's the Bulldogs moving forward alongside the likes of Burton, Marnie, Oluwapu.
I reckon Preston's already plugged that hole that Jackson left behind, and more than plugged it. I reckon his first season's better than any of all the seasons that Jackson ever put together. I know. In terms of creativity, in terms of attack. And, if anything, maybe Jackson defended better, but fucking Preston's everywhere. His impacts, he's got a great offload. He runs great lines. He's he's very zippy on the field. All right, he's more of a threat than Jackson ever was.
No,
and Jackson played 10 years, but he was just...
No, I think you're forgetting how good Jackson was for a very long period of time and how bad the teams he was playing in were, right? If you look at...
two grand final appearances?
He had 2 grand final appearances, but if you look at 2019, 2020, 2021, he was playing with really horrible teams. Our board was all over the place. We had, 3-4 new coaches.
I'm just saying, of what I've seen, Preston's going to be a way better player than Josh Jackson.
Right? On coaches, I just want to make this comment about people saying that Seraldo could be Barrett 2.0, and I made that comment when I was a little bit frustrated. So I understand, but just to put into perspective, Seraldo's won 5 of 12. As head coach.
Isn't that what Barrett won in 2 years?
Barrett won 5 out of 34.
Yeah. I don't know why. You must really. Where's that voodoo doll you had at Barrett?
Look, I think it's interesting that if you look at the numbers, Seraldo's already far and away sort of exceeding what we were hoping. And to be honest, like if you look at even the games, a lot of the games we've lost, like the first one to the Warriors was by 2 points. And every game we have lost, even though we've played well below our best, we've been in the game and we've had that grit and determination, and it's paying off for us against a game against like the game against the Titans, which, we held up, we held on. And then when the opportunities came, we had our young guys, Kiraz, Averillo, Ockenbaugh, take those opportunities and make them count. And I think it's really showing and telling of the team. And I think the more time we get with each other and the more decisions are made around what the team's going to look like next year and the year after, we'll start to see even better results. But I've got if we can start to refine some of that and start using the confidence we get out of winning these tough games, we can start to build up and win even more games.
Can I ask? I know you want to build up. Any halves you reckon you guys can entice from next year that are off contract before we get to other halfbacks? Because look, I know he's got a lot of forwards, and I'm sure Matt Lodge and Daniel Saifidi are somewhat becoming available on the market, but there is two positions that are glaring that he's near to fill. Halfback or somewhere in the halves, you need someone that's a proven seasoned campaigner. Is there anyone that you can take from next year that you reckon you can entice? I mean, do you reckon Ben Hunt? I don't think he'll go. I can't see him. I mean, yeah.
Look, based on what I'm seeing from the selections that Seraldo is making, Burton and Oloapa are the long-term halves combination. Right? You add Crichton in there at fullback. You add one more forward, potentially. And you shuffle the team around. You add Bronson Sherry in there with his blistering speed and size as a center, right? And I think you've got a good solid team there.
Can I ask? I mean, I was bringing it up again. A lot of Canterbury fans and a lot of football critics, they argue that Burton is not a 5'8" and should slot into the centers.
Disagreed. Burton is very clearly. Not only is he a good 5'8", not only is he 5'8", I think he's a good 5'8". And if you saw against the Titans where he was running the ball, right? He was running the ball. It showed, and his kicking game, he's running even close to the line, repeat sets. So the argument that he's not a 5'8", I think, is just from people who don't want to analyze Burton as a player.
They like Birdo. They think they need an out and out proven halfback.
I agree to an extent where I don't think Burton is a halfback, right? Whether Seraldo agrees and thinks Burton could be.
What is? I've always thought Braden Trindle from Cronulla is sitting in the wings at Cronulla. He'll be good for Canterbury. I reckon they offer him a bit of overs and bring him. Look, another glaring hole he's got to put there's another glaring hole in the team. A key position is the fullback. I know you're going to say Crichton to fullback. Can he do it though next year? I know he's got Perham, but he lacks the creativity.
Do I think Crichton can be our fullback? Should he be our fullback?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, and then we've got to wait for next. But they're like two positions I think you guys really need to focus on.
I agree with you.
Because he's got a stack of forwards. I just think that he's got that money. Instead of getting like Saifidi or a Lodge into the team, go for a halfback.
Well, I mean, other than Ben Hunt and maybe Braden Trindle, but even then, he's signed on to 2025. So, realistically speaking, he'd want to move for us to be able to get him. And look, he probably won't get a chance now that Nico's there. But then you look at Moylan, for example. Moylan is starting to get old, right? He's in his 30s now. How much longer do you think can he keep up his intensity to match up with Nico? And Braden could potentially slot in for the Sharks at 6. I think that's probably one of the things that he's looking toward. On the other hand, I don't think the Bulldogs want to do that. I think the Bulldogs want to show faith in Oloapu and Burton with money there. Is that the solution? I'm at pains to say yes, but I do believe in Seraldo and what he's trying to do.
Did you like Alawapu's hit on the weekend?
I loved it. What a hit. What a hit.
Feels good when you got a half that can put on smashing hits.
He's, I mean, look, to be honest, Carl Flanagan was a good defender, but Olawapu.
He monstered him. He's only 19. He's only going to get bigger.
He's 18. So.
Oh, sorry. Look, 18 and he monstered someone like he was.
And Foreign's like a tough guy. Like,
I've seen Foreign get leveled out so many times. It's his running style.
I think.
I've seen Sam Tagateezy lay him out.
And Sam, how big is Sam Tagateezy though, compared to Olawapu, for example? But what I saw on the weekend from Olawapu is that he's starting.
That was confident. Yeah, that was good.
He's starting to show very, very small signs. And I think Seraldo's sort of telling him, take your time. There's no need to rush. If we don't do spectacularly this year, that's okay. We're building, right?
Just on that, I know Omar brought it up on a podcast a few weeks ago. So if the Dogs all of a sudden are out of finals contention, do you expect the board to go down to Seraldo and say, hey, we can't make the finals, blood the youngsters, we got nothing to lose, it's only to help us and see in the next season and onwards?
Well, my response to that is there have been eight new players, eight debutants that are, NRL debutants that have played for the Bulldogs this year. 8.
Does it hurt to blood a few more or give those 8 debutants more game time?
No, but what I'm saying is that the precedent there has been set that Seraldo is not afraid to blood juniors. And if the time comes where we need to, Seraldo is absolutely going to do that. And here's the thing, right? People were saying, last year were saying Alamoti's incredible. He started Alamoti. Alamoti has had some poor performances, but he's backed him, right? Jacob Preston.
You can't expect him to have a good game every week.
No, but my point is that Seraldo is picking and sticking and trying to have faith in the juniors. Preston, he's stuck to him. He's getting better and better every week.
I don't think Preston's even had a bad game.
Honestly, even when we're playing badly, Preston is the consistent one who keeps trying and keeps trying and keeps trying.
I watch him, and I've said it before, I watch Preston and think, yep, he's into his 7th season of first grade, his 3rd season of rep footy, and then you look and he's played 11 or 12 games, and you think, what?
Yeah, he's doing very well. I think that bodes well for us.
He's such an influence on the field. I can't believe it's his first season.
And I think I have to call out also the fact that Seraldo dropped Josh Reynolds from the bench and he brought on Blake Wilson.
I was hoping it was it was the 17, wasn't it?
He wasn't in the 17 at all.
Yeah, exactly.
He had Blake Wilson.
Good. I hope he wipes himself out on the bye weekend, so we don't have to see him anymore.
That's horrible, bro. That's
the
absolutely
pitchforks
horrible.
are going to come out now
that's
again.
Horrible, bro. How can you wish injury on anyone? Honestly,
I'm not wishing injury on anyone. I just don't want to see him in the 17 again.
No, I don't want to see him in the 17, but I don't hope for him wiping himself out or anything like that. Like, I think that if I'm honest with you, I think that you could even make an argument to bring someone like Carl Flanagan in at 14 to either play maybe as in a lock type position or
it's too small.
No, let me finish. Yeah,
go on.
Right, either in a lock type position or Marnie can shift, right, and Flanagan come in there as a replacement number 9, or even someone.
Yeah, that's it. Replacement number 9. Just give him a rest for like probably 2 10-minute stints. And come back on.
No, and Flanagan's been doing really well at 9 in the lower grades. The other one that seems to show good signs we could have him potentially on the bench is Chris Patolo. So someone asked Phil Gould on Twitter about how Chris has been doing. He's had a couple of really good games in the lower grades. He was saying that he believes Seraldo probably wants to see 2 more good games from Chris Patolo and then potentially have him back on the bench. The Bulldogs have also offered Chris Patolo a 1-year extension on his contract for 2024. Good. And he can be a forward that can come in and relieve some stress from the other forwards. I do, before we go on, I have to mention this because it's burning me to say this. But I want to say in the second half, I don't know what Seraldo said or what he did, but Max King and Tavita Pangai Jr. came out and played like their houses were on fire. They came out and played like they wanted to own that Titans forward pack. And boy, did they.
I think they've put in great energy in every game they've played.
But I felt like they were lacking in the first half.
Yeah.
They weren't running with the same
slow start, yeah.
But if you look at the way Tavita Pangai Jr. came out and he ran like he had never run before. He ran with intent and with purpose. Now, we're going to get to him being chosen for the Blues, and congratulations, Fox and TPJ, on your selection for the Blues. But even before he got selected for the Blues, I thought that his second half was fantastic. And Max King, I love Max King. He's quickly becoming one of my favorites because this guy plays with injury. He plays and carries the front row on his back. He's there
every week.
He's a non-stop.
He's playing every week.
He's incredible.
He rocks up.
And, we had 3 successful captain's challenges, which I thought was good, but funny because if we didn't have the captain's challenge, the Dogs would have lost.
No, that's good. He's
right?
Using him.
No, but I'm saying if we didn't have the captain's challenge, the Bulldogs lose.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, for me, it's really disappointing that it's coming to this, right? Referees need to be better. The bunker needs to be better. Like, we can have a blow. I'm not going to blow up about it.
You know what?
It is now.
I'll tell you why it's got into this, because the NRL's now put the refs in 2, 3, 10 minds.
Yeah.
So they don't know what a call is anymore. So you might end up seeing each team getting 2 captains' challenges, for example, because I'll blame it on the refs and the stakeholders. Not the refs, the NRL and the stakeholders. They've put the refs in 10 different minds. They don't know what a forward pass is anymore. They don't know what a knock-on is anymore. They don't know what a proper tackle is anymore, because they seem to just say, it's a hip drop all of a sudden.
Look, I think the NRL's trying to clarify things, but I don't know how good the lines of communication between, say, the NRL and the refereeing team is, but there needs to be better communication there on, for example, if the refs are struggling with certain calls consistently, it's like, okay, hey, can you guys clarify to us what the ruling is, right?
NRL's behind all of that. They're giving the refs directions, what they think is a call.
What directions?
They just got their own agenda, and
what
they go
directions?
by it.
What directions?
Like, for example, they want to stamp out hip drops, but they can't even explain properly to the refs what a hip drop is.
Well, they have. They put out a video. They put out an explainer, which is very, very clear.
So, okay. Aren't they in charge of the refs?
But that's my point.
So
how did the ref make that mistake on the weekend when not even 2 weeks ago we were sent a proper video by the NRL saying this is what a hip drop is. This is what players should avoid. In the refs.
So who's the referee's boss?
I don't know who it is. Is it Graham Annesley at the moment?
Toss him out, sack him. I don't care if he's
Tony Archer. I don't know if it's Tony Archer.
I don't care if he's been a former first-grade referee and a former politician. It's become farcical. Sack him. Clearly, he's not doing his job.
Anyway, let's not get too bogged down. I do want to celebrate the Bulldogs' win against the Titans. I thought it was a great win. And you can see the happiness in Marnie's face after the Ox scored the try. And to be honest, like, for me,
it's a good feeling when you.
I was still questioning how did we do that? How did we come back and win? And to be honest, for the last 3 years prior to this year, we do not win that game. I'm going to be very honest.
Yeah.
We don't win that game. We lose that game handily
because the heads go down. But this time it didn't.
This time, Sir was like, no, we can still win this. We're not out of it. We know we can play better footy. Let's play better footy. Now.
You had Mr. Positive in the side, the Fox.
Oh, and doesn't he make a difference?
Oh, man, he scores like, yeah. I was just having heart palpitations because with social media these days and, artificial photos and whatnot, people coming out with team announcements and, I think there was a few that didn't have Fox in the side. It was just false and alligator. Here we go, Fittler, another Fittler special, which he did come out with a few specials. Apparently Jack. Yeah,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll unload on Fittler.
But yeah, it was a good win, and I want to see us play like that for 80 minutes. I think up until now, I don't think the Bulldogs have put together a complete 80-minute performance. I'll be honest.
No, of course, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to disagree.
If you look at the Manly and the Tigers games that we won, we were playing out of our skin, and then
went to sleep.
It went to sleep. Even the Cowboys game, the first half we were very slow, but we came back strong and then won it with that miraculous field goal. Against the against the Titans, we only played, really, if you think about it, for maybe 35 to 40 minutes to really win.
During the Cowboys game, was your best performance this year?
No, I still
was bad conditions from memory.
It was raining. I still think the Melbourne game was probably our best performance.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You know what? They did have a good win. Yeah.
I do want to say that I think the Bulldogs missed the Fox more than anyone, and we're missing Kikau's defense.
Who's your captain again?
It's on-field. The still on-field captains, Burden and Money.
Yeah, see, that's where I think. See, everyone thinks it's the Fox. So I knew who it was, but I just wanted everyone to hear it. A lot of people actually think it's the Fox. Everyone looks at him as the leader. It's like the players look at him as a leader. So
He's a spiritual leader, though, and he will always be that. Whether he should have the C on his arm, I don't know, but
I would put him on there.
well, I mean, Serraldo's made that choice, and to be honest, I think it's
Just put it on the Ferrari, you know.
I mean, it's neither here nor there anymore. To be honest, I don't think it matters too much. People know the value that Fox has in the team, and honestly, I hope that Fox plays out the rest of his career at the Bulldogs. There's something about him that is beyond just his ability to run fast and catch ball and defend well or whatever. He has an infectious energy, but it's also the speech and the talk that he does a lot more now. If you look out off the ball, he's always talking. He's always talking. He's always marshalling the boys when we're on the line. One more set, and he's the one that's doing that. And I think it makes a big difference to our team. He scored a wonderful try on the weekend that I thought was, Burton makes a break, and I thought Perham did well to back up there and offload the ball to Fox. Yeah, look, it was a good second half performance.
I hope Addo-Carr has a long career. He's a pure athlete as they come. He's got it in his blood. His grandfather was a boxer. I think he's got someone in his family that was a tennis player, I think.
Natural born athlete.
Yeah, you just see him. He's got the body of an athlete. He's got the mind of an athlete. He's
such an asset to rugby league. Just overall, like to the Blues, to Australia.
Fans love him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's off the field. He's what you expect of an athlete. He's approachable. He understands the fans come to the games. They get paid because of the fans. So he's very approachable, very likable. Yeah.
So I guess ultimately we've got the Roosters after the bye, and the great thing for
I heard Omar Slamank was running scared after making that bet, especially after seeing the Roosters capitulate
well,
against the Dragons.
He's not here tonight.
He's running scared. I think he's just worried about his wager now.
He's not here tonight. Omar, I'm holding you to it, bro. Actually, before we go on to the State of Origin, I do have to make one call out for a non-Bulldogs game.
Yeah.
Because it put a massive smile on my face.
Which one was that one?
Tigers, 66.
Jeez.
North Queensland Cowboys, 18.
How good was Coruscant? You know what? Can I say, even in heavy losses and in like close games, he's been brilliant for the Tigers.
He's a brilliant player. He's been brilliant for every team he's played for. The Rabbitohs, the Sea Eagles, the Panthers, and now the Tigers. But I want to stress that this win was not off the back of Isaiah Papali'i or Api Coruscant.
Team effort.
This win was a team effort, and Jareem Buller, since coming into the Tigers team, has made such a massive impact. Him and Junior Tupou and Stafford Toa and David Nofaluma since coming back, and David Clemmer. Right, they have made such a massive difference to this Tigers team. I think David Clemmer has been one of the most consistent forwards in the game, and I had him in my Blues team. Right, and seeing the injuries that that the Blues forwards had, right, I had him in my Blues team on the bench.
He wouldn't look out of. I mean, he's been in Origin before,
and he's a proven winner. He's excellent. He's a great forward, but that win and I said 5 weeks ago that even though they lost, that they had turned a corner. Right, I said this to a Tiger supporter friend of mine. So, hey, if you're watching,
you're supporting the wrong team, mate. That's what he wanted to tell you.
And I said they've turned the corner, and as a Tigers fan, he was still dejected, which I don't blame him for. But then over the last 4 weeks, they've won 3 games and won by 66-18. They could not be stopped on the weekend, and it brings me a lot of joy to have seen the Tigers play so well, especially for Brooks 200. I think that Brooks has had a really unfair go of it for a very long time from the media. He's been targeted, he's been attacked, he's been thrown from pillar to post, and to see him come back over the last month and perform the way he has and the way the whole team has, I'm very, very happy for them.
Do you think he'll ever play finals in his career? I mean, he's probably got a few more years left in him, 3 maybe. Do you think he'll make it there one day?
Look, it's hard to say.
It's his 12th season, I think, of first grade.
I It's hard to say. I don't know. I mean, that's like saying, is Marnie going to play finals again?
Oh yeah, I can see that happening. I mean,
Do you
from
know
what
what I mean?
I've seen.
But yeah, it's one of those things where you say, I hope so, but it's up in the air on how well their rebuild is going and what Benji can do with that team. Because if you look at the way everything's going, I feel like Benji's taking more of a hands-on role at the moment than, say, Robbie. And even Tim Sheens, I feel like even if you look at the way it is, you know, Tim Sheen's in the game's always sitting sort of behind Benji up the top with Benji wearing the headphones and making the call. So, you know...
you got one of the greatest attackers of all time in Benji Marshall. You got Robbie Farah, one of the great defenders of his era. And then you got the old fox, Tim Sheens. I mean, he has been out of the game for a while, but there is qualities he's got there that... I mean, only the 1%ers got, such as Wayne Bennett has and Bellamy.
Yeah.
That he can pass on. They've turned it around. I hope they keep turning it around for their sake. I think the Tigers haven't played finals in, 12 seasons?
Yeah, 2011, I think.
So it'll be their 12th or 13th season.
Yeah. So, yeah, go on the Tigers now.
Go the Tigers.
Now.
Like a tiger.
Now. What we are all looking forward to in 1 week's time. 8 days.
Oh, that KFC
State of Origin. State of Origin. Yeah. I cannot tell you how much I love that first whistle, that kickoff for the first game of State of Origin. Honestly, State of Origin is on another level. It is by far the biggest rivalry in Australian sport. And if this rivalry existed in any other sport, right, in the intensity and the concentration that it has in Australia, it'll be one of the biggest rivalries in the world, right? I know there's El Clasico. I know that there's massive rivalries in different sports. I'm not denying. I'm not saying this is bigger, but I'm saying if rugby league was a bigger sport, if we were on the level of rugby, right, and there was a rivalry as big as State of Origin in rugby, not rugby league, but in rugby union, it would be one of the biggest, most televised sports events in the world.
I heard somebody's going to release a piglet on Adelaide Oval with the word Munster written on it.
Yeah, Billy Slater, the coach.
No, I just heard some, a throwback to what they did to Wally. I want to ask you, how much do you think, how many HIAs do you think we'll get from this game? Because that's the intensity and the brutality they play at. It's inevitable we're going to have multiple HIAs.
Look, I hope Ashley Klein, who is going to be the referee for the State of Origin, puts the whistle down.
No, look, I got to point it out. They got to control the right. Sometimes Queensland just lay all over you. They niggle, they overdo it. If the refs lose control, then Queensland's going to get away with murder. They play that style of footy. If he has to, he has to play his whistle. He's got to control.
No, look. I'm not saying that I don't want him to control the ruck. I just not just nitpicking. Like, for example, I think about the Tavita Pangai Jr., right? So Tavita Pangai Jr., for those who aren't aware, was chosen as a forward in the New South Wales Blues team. He's the number 8. He's going to be starting alongside Payne Haas in the forwards, right?
That's a combo the Dogs need. But yeah, anyway, back to Origin.
Incredible, right? And this is what the Broncos could have potentially had if Tavita would have stayed at the Broncos. Do I think that Tavita is the best forward in the game? No. Do I think he has the potential to be? Yes. Do I think he's going to do well in Origin? I think that the Origin arena, if we go by past years and how they've been less likely to blow penalties and how they've been a little bit more lax, if I want to use that term, and in State of Origin, this is going to be the cauldron for Tavita Pangai Jr. If I think Freddie's got to be very smart with how he uses Tavita Pangai Jr. If Tavita Pangai Jr. is just going to go in there and be a meter eating front row,
he's a blazer. He's a hot rod sort of forward.
You've got to let him
footwork. Yeah. He's got the offload. I just hope the players don't just stand there and watch.
Yeah, you've got to let him. You got to let him do his thing, and your game plan has to be run off Tavita, run off Tavita. You've got to have the Fox running off Tavita. You've got to have Teddy running off Tavita.
Teddy's the man.
Tommy Turbo,
yeah.
Right? Have Tommy Turbo. If you can, like, if you link up, or even for example, think about it this way: if you can link up two of the most explosive players, Tavita Pangai Jr. and Latrell Mitchell, right? If you can link them up, if you can get Tavita running on the sides, offloading to Latrell, right? Can you just imagine like how hard it will be to defend that side?
Can I get to this? Can we get to the team selection, because there's a section of the New South Wales fans, more like Canterbury fans, that are actually not happy with a few of the team selections. They think it wasn't justified.
Who wasn't justified? All right, so
we'll go through them. Yeah.
Right, so we've got, and this is in position, right? This is in for James Tedesco, fullback.
Yeah,
Brian.
We'll stop there. So a lot of there's a good section of, seeing a lot of our followers on the Kennel are Canterbury fans. Not too impressed that Teddy got chosen at fullback. They're thinking that his form hasn't warranted. He's in decline. I still think he deserves his spot.
I don't agree. I them.
Just think the way they got Latrell and Turbo in the centres, it probably works well in their favour. Then it frees up Teddy more. He didn't have that luxury last year. I know. I can see what you're saying. But yeah, share your thoughts.
Look, I'll be honest. I think James Tedesco has done it for the Blues consistently and has been the reason we've won games on his own.
Right.
To say, he shouldn't be fullback now, I think is not only unfair to him, but I think it would be quite stupid from a selection point of view and from a political point of view. Because if you were not to choose Teddy, who is the captain, who hasn't really given a reason for himself to be dropped just yet, you would cause an uproar and you would cause unnecessary media focus and drama on the team that the team doesn't need.
So you're in agreement he should be chosen?
I was never not in, I thought, right, that there may be an argument made. So I'm not totally against people saying maybe you could have put Latrell right? I'm not against that. No. But I am 100% behind Freddie choosing him at fullback. I can understand the argument, but I don't think just yet they're warranted. That's my opinion.
I just think the backline he's got and the forwards he's got, he's going to run more freely than we have seen
him
in a few seasons. In that second half against St. George, we saw, and honestly, he pulled that whole side back into the game.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's the Teddy we know. I just thought, looking at team selections, he probably has slowed down a little bit. I don't think his form's been bad at all. I think it's been harsh.
In a really poor Roosters team, he's been one of the
best.
Yeah, he's been one of the best.
I think he'll be effective. Then we got our wingers, Brian To'o and Addo Carr. No qualms there. I mean, I would have broken some walls if Addo Carr didn't get chosen. Well,
I mean, it was obvious that
you can never say no. Brian To'o in the form he's been in the last 3 or 4 years.
Brian To'o he makes in Origin. I think he's averaging like 280 meters a game. Or 250 meters, like they're numbers that not many people can put up, right? The thing about Josh Addo Carr, again, he brings that energy, that infectiousness. He loves the New South Wales team. He's made for that big games. He always performs when he needs to perform. And I think, outside Tommy Turbo, you've got a very powerful center with a very fast winger. You get the ball early to Tommy Turbo.
Yep.
Right? You get the ball early to Tommy Turbo. If he can get the ball out to Josh Addo Carr quickly and effectively, you can see Josh could see Josh Addo Carr getting a hat trick.
Just on that, because he hit the jackpot. Tommy Turbo, did you like his form on the weekend?
What a game! Like, you look at the difference a Manly side he makes to that Manly side. When he plays on, he was quicker. He was more, I thought he was quicker both physically and psychologically. I felt he was reacting to things a lot better. Everyone in the Manly side had felt buoyed by the fact that this was the Turbo that they were waiting to see, which doesn't bode well for Manly in case he does get injured. But it's also, this is the Tommy that we want to see, smashing teams, because he makes such a big difference. But I will say quickly, I thought Schuster had a very, very good game for the Eagles.
Very good.
Very good game.
Just there's elements that I think Turbo shouldn't have been in the Origin side, because I think for 2.5 months he's been quite ordinary. Honestly, all it takes is one game. That's the Turbo we know.
How many bad games have you seen him play for the Blues?
Never.
Honestly, how many bad games have you seen
Absolutely
him play
never.
for the Blues?
Even in that game they lost to wrap it up 3-0.
Yeah. He
was immense in that game. Him and Latrell almost stole the game for New South Wales.
That's what I mean. He's never had a bad game.
Do you remember him
Blues.
at Perth? They were in the navy blue jerseys.
Didn't he score a hat trick?
I think he scored 4. Did he? Or was it?
No, I don't think it was 4.
Hat trick.
Yeah,
it was Wow. How much did they beat them? 54-10
Yeah, it
or
was a
something?
ridiculous score. But that's my point, right? Like, even with when we go back to
That made Teddy look good.
remember when we go back to the whole Luai discussion as well, right?
That's our next one. Now you're
Right.
on
So
it.
Luai at 6, he was chosen.
I'll have him on my team. I don't think he's played bad at all.
Man, people on TikTok. So if you haven't subscribed to our TikTok,
away.
we have the link in the description. People on Twitter as well are arguing the same thing. Twitter link in the description. Make sure you like and subscribe while you're down there. People were saying Luai, he's not that great. Nico Hines is 10 times the player. Again, Nico Hines is a great player. I'm not denying Nico Hines is a great player, but Luai fits. Luai has the confidence, has the arrogance, has the talent, has the skill, has done it before, has won 2 grand finals in a row. And people were saying, Penrith are going to win those grand finals regardless of whether Luai was there or not. How can you just reduce everything that Luai has done in the game for the last 4 or 5 years to absolutely zero? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Luai is very effective on a side. If he's not there, Cleary is not as effective. Still very effective, but, Luai's another weapon in the arsenal.
I agree with you 100%. And so, again, you go back to what has he done to deserve being dropped? That's what you have to think about. Like, if you drop Luai for Hines,
he never gives up. His head never
he
goes
never
down.
ever, he never, and he's always, when he's happy and when he's going, you see the whole team is going with him. The whole team wants him to. He brings that energy that Josh Adokar brings, and you can't just drop them because you think someone else is better, right?
Spot on. Brings us to our next guy.
Which is Nathan Cleary.
No qualms about him.
He's
the Australian halfback.
Him and Haas, the first chosen.
Playing Haas. Yep. Although I was hearing...
8 is Tavita Pangai Jr.
All right.
Now, before you get on there, I have to say, I don't like...
I'm on the Tavita train.
I'm on the Tavita train. Choo-choo. I'm all the way on with Tavita.
Oh, I'm so happy to see him.
I want to see him ripping, tearing.
That's the sort of players I want.
Yeah, 100%. Like, this is a call from left field, but I think it's a good call. And this is one I actually back Freddie on.
And he can put bruising hits on.
He will definitely annoy a lot of the forwards for the Queensland.
You know what? It just show you, Teddy, you might still be smoking something. Somehow still chose Jake Trbojevic, who's softer than pancakes. Only ones that will get upset about that comment is Manly fans. I don't frankly care what Manly fans think. Go screw yourselves. But anyway.
I have to disagree with you there slightly. I think that Jake Trbojevic in the second row.
He's gone soft.
Look, Jake Trbojevic will give you 150%. He's an origin style player. He's not the flashiest, but you need someone like him in the team.
Soft.
Hang on a second. If he's injured, if he's not injured, you have him starting second row in place of either Hudson Young or Tyson Frizzell. I don't care what anyone says.
He's become Aaron Woods 2.0.
No. Calm down.
Wasn't Aaron Woods on the Bulldogs?
Don't talk about
books?
Gerbo. Don't talk about Gerbo. Yeah, for 6 weeks. Honestly, Jake Trbojevic.
Wasn't he on the Dragons books for like 10 years?
Jake Trbojevic, I think if he was not injured, should be in the team. That's
I'm
my
glad
opinion.
he's not there.
We can
not wishing bad on him. I think a lot of fans were actually relieved he wasn't injured in nothing.
Look, I'm happy to disagree with you on that. But I am of the opinion that he should be in the team.
In years gone by, he was great, but then I just seen him go soft. I think it's just those years of rugby league.
Okay, so Tavita Pangai Jr. is in place for the injured Jake Trbojevic. Completely different players.
Great choice, Fittler.
Completely different players. All I want and all I would hope from Freddie is that he lets Tavita play his natural game. Let Tavita go out there and just explode.
Just don't get sent off.
Don't get sent off, right? Don't get sent off. Don't throw punches, right? Don't hip drop tackle.
Throw punches, just don't get sent off.
Just go out there and niggle and annoy all the Queenslanders. Do what you do. Do what you have to do to make sure that they are annoyed at you and that they are scared every time you run at them.
One thing I like about him is he's scared of no one. So if he's got 10 Queenslanders running at him, he's not going to backtrack like Ben Cray did.
Oh,
do you remember
remind me.
That was the end of his career because after that, nobody found him intimidating whatsoever.
Pussycat.
He was ineffective for St. George after that.
Honestly, he must be one of the worst players to win a premiership ever. Him and Dean Young.
I'm just going to say silent here.
Dragons fans are not going to be happy. Neither is my wife.
No, I think the Crickets were just replying for us. I mean, we had nothing to say.
Then you've got Arpi at 9. He's the only 9 that they've decided not to pick Cook.
Nothing wrong with Arpi getting chosen there. He's a phenomenal player. I just think with the pace of State of Origin, you needed 2 hookers, but I guess Fittler's gone with I think Fittler's gone with a game plan.
I think he has gone with the game plan. You're right.
And I mean, he's probably hoping Hines, or might even move Hines into maybe
6. He can. Yeah, he can.
Maybe Luai will relieve Appy at 9 for a bit.
I think that could work.
Luai's capable. He's a good defender.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
He's good out of dummy half. I've seen him before as well out of dummy.
To be honest,
you might just take Luai off and put Hines in, expect Appy to play the whole 80 minutes.
I think Appy can do that whole 80.
You got Cam Murray as well, who's capable of playing 9.
Yes.
I
don't think you'd want Cam Murray to play 9 though. I think he can come on and replace a Hudson Young or a Tyson Frizzell. He's very quick.
Forward, yeah.
He's very quick, but I think Cam Murray's effectiveness will be reduced. And I can't get over just how great Cam Murray is every single Blues game. The guy is just honestly, I never rated Matt Murray as highly, but just seeing what he's capable of. He's incredible, and yeah, but we'll get to him.
Do you like him when he plays for Souths?
I enjoy watching Souths play. Yeah, I do. I just hate the calls that they get. Then we've got Payne Haas at 10. No surprises there. Would have been one of the first chosen.
I heard a rumor he was going to be like number 17 or something.
That was from our podcast.
Hang on a second. A few years ago, wasn't he on the bench?
He was very young though. He was what, 20, 19?
I think he was on the bench for a few years, and he was choosing Regan Campbell-Gillard or other forwards ahead of him, just thinking, what?
Actually, look, I'm happy Campbell-Gillard's not in the team. I don't think Campbell-Gillard is an Origin player. So these are the funny decisions that were made. You've got Tyson Frizzell at 11, and then Hudson Young debuting at 12.
He's been good for Newcastle this year.
Hudson Young's amazing. I'm not upset that he's chosen.
He has been good. I don't know. Was he a starter? I mean, he's a guy that can. I think he scored 14 tries last season.
Yeah, that's right.
How much is he on this year? Is he on 5 or 7? He's on
6, I think. Maybe
he's already on a lot of tries this year as well.
Yeah. So
he scores not up there like Menzies, but
he's a great player, and he's very mobile. He's very active. He's where you don't expect the second row to be. So he's one that I think could definitely link up very, very well.
He's a creative
with
second row. I've realised
he'll do very well alongside.
Just make sure you defend, mate.
Alongside Tom Trbojevic and Josh Adokar. I think he's got a good passing game, so that could work.
Then you got Isaiah Yeo
at 13.
Who's captaining the side? Teddy.
Teddy's the captain.
Oh, they won't give it to Yo.
Nah, it's Teddy. Why would you change him from captain?
Just think that a middle forward, I mean, a lock is up there in the line all the time, and I know Teddy's been there for years. Let him focus on his game at fullback.
Nah, I think no problems there. I don't think you need to complicate things. If it's not broken, don't try and fix it. Let's just leave it at that.
It was broken last year. They lost the series.
To be honest, I think that was more rotation and bench selections than it was the team.
Yeah.
But we got Junior Bolo at 14.
I'm glad he's on the bench because he gives you good impact, just not a starter.
I think that Freddie might pull a fast one and start Bolo and put Pangai Junior on the bench. That's just my speculation. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's my speculation.
I just think the pace of Origin has gone a bit too fast for Bolo. I reckon come on when the other team's a bit tired. He's a big man. He's got to offload on him.
No, I agree. But also, he's very good at absorbing that impact, making those tackles, running hard for the first 20 minutes. Then you bring Tavita Pangai Jr. on when the team's a little bit more fatigued and let him just run and offload.
Starting. He's better starting.
He's
looked better for Canterbury since he's been a starter.
His offload game has taken a bit of a nosedive since he started and played more of a prop role. Do you get me?
No, he's got that in him. So he'll always have that in his natural game.
Then you've got Cameron Murray at 15. No surprises there.
He'll get a lot of game time. He's too good not to.
Liam Martin at 16.
Yeah, anyway, go on.
I think it's a good choice.
I would have had Ola Kawatu.
I agreed. Look, I think Ola Kawatu...
He deserves a chance.
Ola Kawatu definitely deserves a chance. He may still get it in weeks 2 games 2 and 3. And then Nico Hines at 17, which I think is a great choice.
I hope he has a blinder because I don't want him to be a one-hit wonder.
No, Nico Hines is too good for that. Trust me.
Yeah, I don't want him to be lost to the Origin arena.
Look, the thing with Nico Hines is he can fill in at fullback. He can fill in at 5.
Center.
Wing, center, 6, 7. He can even fill in that dummy half role if really needed. Bro, at a pinch, you could throw him a lock. Like, honestly, if you really wanted to.
I wouldn't put him in the forwards. I'll just let him focus.
Yeah, I wouldn't, but I'm saying at a pinch, if you really needed to, and we were going through a really bad game of injuries, you could. But he's got that flexibility about him. You know, he used to play all different types of roles for Melbourne when he was there. So I'm happy that Nico Hines chosen. I think he's going to prove to everybody he's the real deal. I do believe he's the real deal. I'm so happy for him that he's been chosen. He does love New South Wales. He hates Queensland, and anyone that loves New South Wales and hates Queensland and plays well should be on the team.
Exactly. And
I know that Tavita Pangai Jr. did say that he loves Queensland, hates New South Wales, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how he genuinely feels right now. He said he was young and he made some, he was in Brisbane. He was, he thought he would never get chosen for New South Wales. Look, I want to let his performance speak for itself.
He's passionate. Now, do you have any mates that are born in New South Wales, grew up in New South Wales, and support Queensland?
Plenty. So do you remember the psychologist we had on, the provisional psychologist, Tariq Ahmed? Yeah, he's one of those traders that is born in New South Wales but supports Queensland. Doesn't make any sense to me. If you live in New South Wales or born and raised in New South Wales and support Queensland, what are you doing? Take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror, because that's a joke.
I've got a mate. His name's Hoos. Hope you're watching, Hoos. He normally does. Born here, grew up here, somehow supports Brisbane and Queensland. That's just unforgivable, mate.
I mean, these people need to get their eyes checked.
Yeah.
And they look
more than just their eyes checked.
Actually, our good friend and co-host Brandon, he's a Queensland supporter.
I think it's just too many HIAs. Sorry, Brandon.
I think, and that's probably why I didn't have him on the show today, because this is a New South Wales show. We are 100% New South Wales.
You're in the bad corner, mate.
You're in the naughty corner. I do want to mention quickly, so number 18 is Stephen Crichton.
Yeah.
And number 19 is Stefano Utoi Kamanu.
Oh, big boy.
Honestly, I love that. I think that Stefano Utoi
Kamanu. Never let you
Kamanu.
down.
Oh, no way. And I think Utoi Kamanu and Olakuatu were the two players that I've always said I wish we could have them at the Bulldogs.
Couldn't find anywhere for the Saifidi twins, or did they just evaporate?
I'm not sure why the Saifidi twins didn't get a look in. I thought the Saifidi twins have been playing very, very well as props, and I thought they always did well for New South Wales. I'm sure that they'll come into consideration.
They'll have more opportunities. Yeah, you're right.
They're still quite young, but I think you could have both of them in the team and they wouldn't let you down.
Oh, hands down.
Honestly, I think you could have both of them in the team and not let you down.
Solid players, both of them.
But you can't. I personally couldn't look past Junior Paulo and Cameron Murray. You could probably argue that instead of Liam Martin, you should have had another prop there.
Yeah, or another hard-running, bull-looking second row.
Like maybe an Olakuatu. I agree.
Olakuatu.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Olakuatu. And even when Manly wasn't playing well, Olakuatu was.
He's been one of their standouts.
Yeah, he's been one of their standouts. So I'm going to quickly run through the Queensland team.
Queenslander.
The losing side this year.
Who remembers Billy Moore walking out saying Queensland?
Queensland.
I thought Queenslanders were all cooked. I used to see Martin Bella, the old Canterbury prop. He used to get bashed every year by the Chief growing up. I just thought Queenslanders were our punching bags. And
they are. They will be. Now that Tavita's there, he's the...
Bring back the biff.
Bring back the biff. So you got Reece Walsh at fullback, Selwyn Cobbo, Valentine Holmes, the two centres. Selwyn Cobbo and Murray Tuolangi, the two wingers. Then you've got Valentine Holmes and Hamiso Tabuai Fido in the centres. I will say I'm a bit surprised that he went with Valentine Holmes over Dane Gagai.
You wouldn't have Valentine Holmes in the side?
I would have Dane Gagai over him.
Come on.
If you look at the way... Hang on. I don't really care about Queensland, so whoever they choose, they can get stuffed, right?
Yeah,
I mean that.
I'm with you there.
So I'm just giving my unsolicited opinion. Screw your loyalty, screw your team. I don't really care.
Well,
and, Valentine Holmes is rubbish.
What?
This year's been rubbish. If you look at Stafford Toa, he honestly, he made a mockery of Valentine Holmes the whole game.
But can I point out, so you would have Hamasai over... Val,
yes.
Even though Val has been killing it year in, year out for Queensland and Australia.
I think,
and if you don't have him in the centres, wouldn't you have him at wing or even fullback? Because he excels in those positions as well. Man, Valentine Holmes, I guarantee you on Wednesday, not this Wednesday, the Wednesday coming, will be one of the best players for Queensland that day.
I actually think that...
I'll bet you 3 KFC buckets.
I reckon that Latrell Mitchell and Brian To'o are going to defecate all over Valentine Holmes.
I'll tell you what, Val will pop up and score a 1 or 2. He always does.
Look, I'm not saying he won't score. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I think this year he's been quite bad. And again, I'm giving a New South Welshman's opinion on a Queensland side that I genuinely dislike.
Who's going to stop Latrell? No one does.
Well, they're hoping Valentine Holmes will.
He's going to do a good job.
I don't think so. I think Dane Gagai would have done a better job, but then Dane
He
Gagai
was a speed bump all those years against Latrell.
anyway. Dane Gagai gets stuffed, the stupid Queenslander.
Great Queensland stalwart, Dane Gagai.
And then you've got the Piglet, Cameron Munster, and the Giraffe,
Freak of a player.
Daly Cherry Evans in the 6 and
Another
the 7.
freak. Jeez, their halves.
Great halves.
Scary,
Great halves.
scary.
Amazing
So
players.
creative.
Yeah.
So creative.
We got to shut them down. I think if we want to win, we have to
They
just.
can do it themselves. They don't need it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cameron Munster in 2020 did do it himself.
Even DCE can do it himself.
Yeah.
He's got that great kicking game as well.
Then you've got Thomas Flegler at 8.
Jeez.
Good forward.
He's a bull-looking front
Good
rower.
forward. Ben Hunt at 9.
Yeah, they
Starting.
got Harry Grant on the bench for him.
Yeah, Harry Grant's on the bench.
yeah.
And then we've got Lindsay Collins at 10.
Good front row pairing. Although New South Wales edge him, I think, in that stage.
Yeah, I think New South Wales definitely edged them.
Just because Lindsay's there.
I would have
Sorry,
had,
Lindsay.
honestly, I would have had Tino starting.
Look, I just wish he got suspended.
Yeah, me too. Well, I don't really care. He's crap anyway. Then at 11, you've got Tom Gilbert. And then at 12, David Fafita makes a comeback to the Queensland team. He could be very, very dangerous for
I think they're
Queensland.
lacking in the second row there. Sorry to say.
Really?
Yeah, Tom Gilbert. No. If he was going to be in the side, I thought on the bench.
Who would you have then in the second row over Tom Gilbert?
I mean, put Tino in there. He can play second row lock as well. He used to play that for Melbourne. He's not out of position. He's one of your more slimmer front rowers. Tino would kill it there. He'd run more freely on the fringes. He's actually quick for a front row.
Well, who cares?
Very quick.
They're crap anyway. Then you've got Patrick Garrigan at 13, who I think will be one of Queensland's
I
best.
hope he has a shocker. I hope they pull his hair.
He'll be one of Queensland's best.
He's normal. I've seen him play soft, so hopefully they show him up.
And then the bench is Harry Grant, Tino, Ruben Cotter, and Jai Arrow.
Good bench.
I don't think it's a great
Cotter's had
bench.
a poor season though by his standards.
And I don't rate Jai Arrow, but
Jai Arrow can play any position in the forwards bar hooker and
but he's not a bullocking front rower.
but he'll put you up 300 meters a game. He's that sort of player.
I don't know. Look, who cares? I hope.
He's an energizer. He doesn't stop going.
I just wanted to ask, or I wanted to get your opinion on Reece Walsh over Ponga at fullback.
Oh, look, his form's been spectacular. Ponga has been slotting in at 5'8". He's had those he had that concussion issues. He's had indifferent form. And then when he's played brilliant. I think Slater, look, I can't even criticise Slater. I mean, who's going to tell the Queenslanders how to choose their team besides the Daily Telegraph? I mean, that was hilarious. They're trying to tell Queensland.
Oh, yeah. But look,
New South Wales have a right to tell Queensland how to choose their team. Like, yeah, okay, mate.
I personally still think that it should have been Ponga at fullback.
Oh, Ponga is amazing. Look,
when has he ever let Queensland
never.
down?
He's been one, even in losing sides.
Yeah. He's almost broken it.
stolen the
Yeah,
game.
100%.
I think he just needed a few more games just to get his head right, his confidence back.
I don't know.
Look, Walsh is still gonna somehow pop up somewhere. I just hope for his sake it doesn't have a disaster and crew his confidence. He's still a very young kid.
Look, I don't think he'll lose his head. He's got Selwyn outside him. He's got he's got Patrick Carrigan there, who's
the other winger again?
Murray Tuolangi from the
Xavier Coates.
which is also surprising. But
He's a freak,
but he hasn't had a great year at for Melbourne this
he
year.
came back after
he was injured.
long layoff.
Yeah. He'll have Selwyn there. We'll have Patrick Carrigan there. We'll have Flegler. He's got a lot of people there. I think that will support him in the Queensland team that he plays with week in, week out. So it's not too bad. At this point, I'm willing to say that the Blues have a better bench than Queensland, but watch that come back and bite me in the ass.
Where's this game at?
I believe this is in Adelaide Oval. New South Wales has the wood over Queensland in these neutral stadiums.
It's an amazing stadium from what I hear.
Yeah, so we do well against them at Perth, Adelaide, all these, So I'm hoping this is another one that we can trounce them on, and then we go to Queensland for the second game. Hang on. Let me figure out. I don't know.
What's your prediction for this game, by the way?
Blues by 13 plus.
I got New South Wales by 8.
I think that
as much as Queensland bloody hell choose a good side, they've chosen a great side, Queensland. I'm still going to back my home state and say by New South Wales by 8, just by the fact that we got players like Latrell and Turbo in the side. We got Payne Haas. We got Api Coruscant. We got Tavita Pangai. And we got those sort of guys.
And I think
I haven't even named the Penrith players, but yeah, just to give you how confident.
Yeah, so game 2 is in Suncorp, and then game 3 will be in New South
So it
Wales.
could be 2-0 by the time we get to Sydney.
Yeah, but I think we will get Adelaide. We won't get Suncorp as usual.
It'd be nice to win it.
It'd be great to win it.
Sweep it at home.
It'll be amazing. I don't think that's going to happen. I do think that we'll win game 1.
I hope so.
Can I say I'm predicting that this will be one of the best series we've seen over the last 10 to 20 years.
I hope so. I really hope so.
I just think that the teams are very evenly matched.
How many hip drops will the refs call?
Too many. If they call even one, I think it's too many for state of origin.
I think the fans will riot at the ground.
Yeah, agreed.
Although they're AFL fans, they're clueless.
This was interesting. I think that there's a lot of support around Australia for the NRL and for rugby league, and I don't think
they did have a side once called Adelaide Rams.
Yeah, Adelaide. We all remember the Adelaide Rams. I have a good friend who's still an Adelaide Rams supporter, and would love to see Adelaide Rams back in the NRL.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, I think this will be a good series. We're a very evenly matched team. I think we excel. New South Wales excels in some areas where I think Queensland excel in others.
I'm scared.
I'm not. I think we'll give a good account of the state. Who do I think is going to stand out? In this series? I'm going to say from the Blues. I'm going to say Tevita Pangai Jr.
I had to be a Canterbury player, and you forgot your other one, Addo Carr.
No. Addo Carr is going to do what Addo Carr does.
Score tries.
I think that Tevita Pangai Jr. is going to add a new dimension to the Blues team. That's what I think will stand out. I think Hudson Young's going to have a great debut.
Who's your man of the match for game 1?
I'm going to say Latrell.
Ooh, I thought it was going to be Tevita.
No, I'm going to say Latrell.
I'm going to say Ben Hunt. Just kidding. No, I'm going to say Payne Haas.
You think Payne Haas will stand out?
Yeah, he'll be my man of the match for game 1.
I reckon he's probably going to run 350 meters this game and make 70 tackles.
2 tries, 3 try assists, 4 line breaks.
For Queensland,
put Thomas Flegolo in hospital.
For Queensland, I think Patrick Carrigan is going to stand out for them. I think he's going to do a great job.
I just hope they pull his hair from the first minute. Tevita pulls it for him, and he just goes missing the whole game.
And I think man of the series for Queensland.
Better not be Carrigan.
It will be. I think it's going to be Ben Hunt.
You don't think it'll be Cam Munster? This is where he thrives.
No, I think Ben Hunt is. I think this will be Swan Song series.
What about so who's New South Wales man of the series going to be? Latrell Mitt?
Man of the series? I think man of the series.
I think he might be bang on the buck with Latrell. He wasn't there last year. He must be raring to go.
Yeah, I just think
we missed him last year.
I just think that Val Holmes is going to be nothing more than a speed bump in Latrell's way.
He's going to have his footprints on his head.
Yeah, especially if you look at the way Luai plays. Right, if you look at the way Luai plays, if he can do with Latrell what he does with Isaac Tungo and what he's doing with Peachy at the moment with their centers, where he runs around, gets he gets around his opposite number, and then he can offload quickly, right? Especially with the likes of Hudson Young or Frizzell playing, if he can get those quick offloads, I think Latrell will have a field day, an absolute field day.
Latrell's going to be on the left side, eh?
He'll no, I think Latrell's going to be on the right.
No, he's on the left because I've realised Turbo kills it on the right when he wraps.
Yeah, he will. You're right.
Jeez, imagine Cody Walker was playing straight to the left side.
Yeah, but I mean that's what Luai can do.
Luai does it well. You're right.
Luai does it well.
Luai does it well.
So I think Latrell will have a great series. I think that I think player of the series, I think could be Cleary.
The halfback, easiest choice I find.
The
quarterback of the NFL.
I was gonna say someone like a Payne Haas because I think he's gonna run like 1,000 meters this series. So. But do you know why I think Cleary's gonna do it? Because I think Cleary, while he's proven himself, I think at this arena, I think he wants the best DCE and Munster. I think that's what his goal is. He wants to be better than them, and he's matured a lot this year. And I feel you can see that in his game. He's just so clutch. But
I just hope our forwards don't go missing.
I don't think our forwards go missing.
Poor Cleary and Luai will get all the they'll get all the criticism. Although you got a few extra forwards in the backs and Latrell and Ta'o. So,
but I mean, if you look at who he's chosen, Tevita Pangai Jr. needs to prove himself, right? Hudson Young is debuting, so he'll want to prove himself. You know what you get with Payne Haas, and then Tyson Frizzell hasn't played there for 3 years.
He never played badly, so he'll give another good
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So all I'm saying is our forwards are primed. Liam Martin, I think he's a great second row, great impact player. Cameron Murray is amazing. Bowler, amazing. I don't worry about our forwards. I think we're always good when it comes to the forwards. I just want us to take advantage of the go forward that the forwards provide.
And that's good.
I reckon Blues 2-1.
Okay, I'm going to go New South Wales 3-0. Let's knock them over at Suncorp as well.
Let's get the sweep. Come on, the Blues. I'm very, very excited. Look out for us on Twitter, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Insta. I'll be sharing updates and by the minute updates on the game when I lose my head.
Of his KFC bucket evaporating quickly.
with fatty KFC fingers, typing tweets and Facebook updates. Just to sharing thoughts and emotions on the game.
What do you recommend for the Bulldogs players to do on their weekend off? Go up to Bali or do they go to Fiji or
I think
didn't Newcastle win when they got back?
Look, to be honest, one of the things that I think that hurt us is we've had this bye really late. If we had this bye earlier in the year, I think it would have given our players some time to recuperate.
Oh, just on that. So who's coming back soon for your side? I think there's a few back in round 16.
We mentioned Chris Patolo.
Oh, okay. Luke Thompson. Is he 16 or round 20?
No, so it's indefinite at the moment. So Gould.
What about Kickout?
23.
What, round 23?
It's a pick injury. They're usually 4 or 5 months. So
what a blow! That's a double blow.
It's a massive blow. But we're slowly but surely getting everybody back. Burns is scheduled to come back around, I think, 17 or 18. I'd love to see him back in the team. I think this bye we've won before the bye. We have 2 weeks now to recuperate. I think Kiraz hasn't been playing at 100%. This time off will give him time to re-energize and hopefully do some more rehab. I think Max King also been playing with some injuries. This will help him, recuperate. Averillo also maybe. So this bye has now come at a good time. We get the Roosters immediately after Origin, which I think is a good thing. It gives us a chance to sort of prove what we can do. And win that game, and I can keep my podcast.
I wonder what Omar would remodel here. I wonder what sort of features.
Well, he's not here today, so it doesn't matter what he thinks.
Red, white, and blue is former side. Jeez.
So, look, I think the bye is coming at a good time for the Bulldogs. I do hope that they can do some good recovery over the bye and come back stronger than ever. And I hope that they can continue to use the confidence they've got out of that win to propel us forward. Because if you look at it now, we get 2 points for the bye. If we can win against the Roosters, then we'll have, I forget who it was, but we have the Roosters.
You guys play the West Tigers again?
We do. I just don't know when it is.
You just play the Dragons again?
Give me a sec.
Trying to count the wins for you guys.
So we'll have the Roosters. Then the week after that,
the Penny Panthers.
Hang on, give me a sec. No, it'll be the Roosters. Then we will have. It will be the Eels. Yes, that's right. So we have the Eels then on Monday on public holiday.
Here we go. Grudge match.
I would love to see us get one over the Eels after the way we lost to them.
Where's that game at? At West or Combank, whatever they call it.
Accor.
So it's your home game.
Dogs' home game.
Good crowd coming in.
Yeah, and then after that we'll have the Sharks on a Sunday at 4 p.m. So if
could be 3 losses on the trot.
Could be 2 out of 3 wins. I don't know if we'll get.
Or it
3
could be a bye plus 3 wins for 8 points.
I mean, if we can
top 8 bound.
I mean, if we get the next 3 wins after the bye, we're definitely in the top 8.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think we're too far off. Let me just put it out there. I don't think we're too far off.
I'll tell you what. If you get those 3 in a row, and you get Thompson returning, and pray that Kiko comes back early, could be in the business end of the season.
He's hoping.
It is long odds, but we'll see how we go.
Once again, we sort of arrived at the end of the podcast. I cannot wait I cannot wait for State of Origin. We will be doing a podcast next week before State of Origin. Our release schedule might be a little bit different because there will be State of Origin on the Wednesday night. So obviously we're going to be watching State of Origin. You're going to be watching State of Origin. So we'll keep you guys up to date. Again, subscribe to our Facebook, Twitter, Insta, TikTok, everything that you can. And to our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube to stay up to date with all of our releases. I'd love to thank Dibbo for participating again. Always love the banter. I love the chat. Thank you to everybody that watches the podcast, listens to the podcast, and engages with us. If you have a message, if you have anything to say about the podcast, please leave it below. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. And we've got plenty more coming up. We do have many very, very exciting guests. We can't reveal who they are, but I guarantee you they are coming. It just takes time to build a lot of the systems around podcasts, a lot of the building, normalizing the way we produce our podcast, and then bringing guests on also takes time and takes a lot of scheduling to ensure it works with us and it works with the guests. But we have some exciting people coming on. Be sure to like and subscribe for all of that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you again soon. Big ups. Thank you very much.